Welcome to week 8 of the Zoom. Nice having you all here tonight. We've actually got a nice warm summer day in the Strand. A bit warm for me, but in any case, that's life. Now, like we said before, our reasons for the Zoom is support group. Have fun a bit, share tips, get ideas of nutrition and so on, get questions answered, and so on. Now, I don't think your fasting is that one. Fasting doesn't mean eating fast food. I don't think you fall for that one. And those who haven't joined us yet, our weight loss support group on Facebook or on WhatsApp, you're welcome to join us there also, because there we also share a lot, especially on the WhatsApp group a lot. Weekly tip, we continue saying this: check what you eat and drink. What's your portion size? That is so important. I was naughty yesterday. I didn't watch my portion size of certain things, so I picked up 800 grams in one day. Which is something we must be careful, look after ourselves. Learn to read labels, do your homework, choose foods high in fiber, low in carbs, and eat the right type of fat. And that's very touching on tonight's topic. If you want to lose weight, okay, fat makes you fat. That's what some people believe. Now, is that a fat lie? Or is that true? Now, what are fats? We talk about the lipids. Is a common name, collective name for all fats. The fats are oils and solids. If you look at lipids, it's oils and fats are all lipids. And look at the types and examples of lipids. Sterols, which you find in your body. You need the steroids hormones in your body. Waxes, cholesterol, fats, normal oils, phospholipids in the cell membrane, so important. And then pigments, so many different types of lipids. So it's not just a simple thing, saturated, unsaturated, that's it. Far more complicated than that. Just for those who want to know the difference between saturated and unsaturated, look at the right-hand side. I've made a blue circle there, the right-hand side, bottom. You see there's a double line there. We call that a double bond. That means it is unsaturated. It means that double bond can break to form what we call a single bond, and more things can add on there. Like the top row, which is saturated, you see there are only single bonds. For those who are chemically inclined or technically inclined, that's basically the difference between saturated and unsaturated. And then on the left-hand side, there's a typical fat molecule we find in our bodies as well, and there's lots of food that we eat. You see on the left-hand side, there's a blue, light blue, a glycerol, and then you get your 3 carboxylic acids attached to it. Now, functions of lipids. This is so important. Lipids are the constituents of cell membranes and regulate cell membrane permeability. That's also where your diabetes also a bit of a problem here, because you stay away from whole grains or grains in general, but you need whole grains because in the whole grain husk, you find lipids and sterols, which are important for cell membrane function. If the cell membrane hasn't got those fats and oils, the cell cannot assimilate nutrients as well it's supposed to, and can't get rid of waste as well it's supposed to. And then the cell is like a motor car engine that's not been serviced. So that's where whole grains come in. Also, these lipids and sterols also help to protect internal organs, surface insect materials, and give shape and smoothness to the body. They serve as a source of fat-soluble vitamins. You heard about fat-soluble vitamins? You need fat to help with that. Essential fatty acids are used for transport of cholesterol, formation of lipoproteins, etc. So it's an important part in your body. We need fat, in other words. Phospholipids in mitochondria, those are the little, I won't say ESCOs, because ESCO2 is load shedding on, but it's your power station. But the phospholipids in there is responsible for transport in the process of making what they call ATP, and so on, which is necessary for energy transfer in the cell. Accumulation of fat in liver is prevented by phospholipids. So another reason why phospholipids are important. They also help in the removal of cholesterol from the body by participating in reverse cholesterol transport. And you see, cholesterol is a constituent of membrane structures, and it's synthesized in the body. We need cholesterol, and it synthesizes bile acids, hormones, and vitamin D. It's the principal sterile of higher animals, binding the nerve tissues and gallstones. Point is, we need cholesterol, believe it or not, we do. And if you look at labels, you will see on the label it says total fat and saturated fat and trans fat. Now, the one you must really be worried about is a trans fat content, especially. Saturated fat, yes, there's some of them that are not bad, some of them not bad. So, but the trans fat especially one you must be careful of. And remember, labels can say trans fat free, but it can still have about 1% trans fat in it. And that's totally legal. Fat-free and low-fat foods. Let's just look at the history very briefly. The idea about fat-free and low-fat food started in the 1960s. The idea. In the 1980s especially, it was very much promoted all over by doctors and health societies all over. But there was no clear evidence actually that it did prevent heart disease or promoted weight loss. But there was some idea and they ran with it. Ironically, in the same decades, the low-fat approach assumed a ideological status. Americans in the aggregate were getting fatter. Others, obesity increased. In actual fact, I was at a meeting in 2004, and then they mentioned in a 20-year period, diabetes and obesity increased by 600% in that 20-year period. And that was in a 20-year period, especially when low-fat and fat-free foods were really, said this is our savior. We must go low-fat and fat-free foods. And skeptics were dismissed, totally just dismissed. Recent evidence has started to shift this paradigm. More evidence has come forward. They said, but wait a minute, fat is not bad. It depends on the type of fat. The things that are actually bad are more your carbs. A more moderate approach has emerged, fortunately. You can see on each page at the bottom, I have a link as well from where I got the information. Now, about this time, people started to eat more sugar, and more refined grains. There's another problem, refined grains. And that's led them to getting fatter and more diabetic. So in trying to address one problem, heart disease, by cutting way back on your fats, we actually created other problems. So we changed our dietary goals, but it led to more diabetes and more obesity. Now, there have been a number of studies done. There's been no benefit for low-fat diets to lead to better weight loss. There's no benefit for low-fat diets to lead to less disease either. It's very skeptical, the whole approach. I'm getting to the, is fat bad for weight gain or weight loss? Get to that part. Now, you spot an abundance of fat-free products, salad dressings, ice cream, milk, cookies, cheese, and all these things, low-fat or fat-free in the shop. They typically marketed to those looking to slash calories because, if I want to lose weight, go for low carb, okay? Or low fat, fat-free, those things, okay? But low-fat foods might seem like a smart choice. But unfortunately, they're full of processed fat and so on. And they processed trans fats, in other words. Okay, point is, unlike naturally fat-free foods, such as most fruit and veggies, processed fat-free foods contain ingredients that can negatively affect your body weight, metabolic health, and more. And they end with a lot of trans fats in it. Despite having fewer calories, okay, then the real counterpart, fat-free foods are typically much higher in added sugar because they must add taste again. Fat gives taste. If you remove fat, they add sugar, give more taste again. Which leads, therefore, people eating more carbohydrates. And therefore, that leads to a progression of chronic conditions like heart disease, obesity, diabetes. Eating foods rich in added sugar may negatively affect certain hormones. This is important. Too much sugar and high sugar affect your hormones in your body, including leptin and insulin, which you end up eating more calories in general, which can lead to more weight gain. So you're on a vicious cycle then. Many fat-free products contain preservatives, artificial food dyes, and so on, which you should rather avoid for health reasons. Plus, they're not as satisfying as foods that contain fat. So by going fat-free, we ended up going down the wrong pit or the rabbit hole causes problems. So very often your fat-free products are not as satisfying, and you get hungry quicker, and then you eat again. So people avoided fat-free, cholesterol-rich foods such as butter, nuts, egg yolks, full-fat dairy, and so on. Going for the low-fat substitutes like margarine, egg whites, and so on. Okay, fat-free dairy type things, so forth. But this is due to the misconception that eating food rich in cholesterol and fat may increase your risk of various disease. While recent research has disproven this notion, myths surrounding dietary cholesterol and fat continue to dominate headlines, and many health practitioners are still stuck in the old paradigm, which is a pity, because fat has gotten a bad rap for nothing. A common diet myth is that eating high-fat foods causes you to gain weight. That is a myth. You know, it's true for anything. If you eat too much of it, you get fat. If I only eat protein-rich food, but I eat too much of it, I'll gain weight. Okay? So it doesn't matter what type of food you eat. If you eat too much of it, you will gain weight. So you must go for a balanced diet. And interesting enough, consuming fat-rich foods may help you lose weight because it keeps you satisfied for longer between meals. So you eat less in the end. I remember last week we spoke about this. Our bodies are different. And the way our bodies metabolize and process fats is different, for example, to carbs. So you don't necessarily pick up that much weight eating fat, in other words. So dietary patterns that are very high in fat, like a ketogenic and low carb and high fat diets, have been shown to promote weight loss. Now, to quickly give an idea, about 8-9 years ago, I had slightly high blood pressure, and the doctor, well, that's a bit longer before that, put me on a blood pressure pill. It was a beta blocker, and that was year 2000 when that happened. And then, despite running marathons and stuff, I started to gain weight. So about 10 years ago, I went to a specialist, had a heart check, everything. My heart was fine, the blood pressure was under control with medication, but my good cholesterol was too low. So the specialist wanted to put me on statins. Now, I've already heard about statins. Statins, there are some research that indicate that statins actually cause heart disease. Some researchers say that. So I said, well, and the doctor told me it is genetic. There's nothing I can do about it. So I said, wait a minute, to myself. I didn't tell him that. I said, my family, I don't know of anybody with a low good cholesterol count, no HDL count. So I went and did research. And I read up things like your fatty fish, your cocoa, avocados, eggs, and so on. And exercise all help to improve your good cholesterol. So I did that rather than take the statins. Within 3 months, I saw a difference in my good cholesterol. 2 years later, my good cholesterol was up by 73%, despite the fact that the doctor said there's nothing I can do about it. He said it was genetic. And then another doctor said, you can stop your blood pressure medication. You know what happened? Beta blockers, which people use for blood pressure, bit of a problem. It causes you to gain weight, and it lowers your good cholesterol. So not a good idea. So I've been off all medication now for a number of years now, thanks to a lifestyle change, and including good fats in my diet. Okay. Like we said, many people assume that cholesterol-rich foods are unhealthy, but that's not the case. Many of them are actually good. I remember in the 1980s, they said, don't eat eggs. Eggs give cholesterol. In the 1990s, they said, no, start eating eggs. It is a good cholesterol. Okay. Some cholesterol-rich foods, such as ice cream, fried foods, and processed meat, should be limited, of course. Most people don't need to avoid nutritious high cholesterol foods, however. Many high cholesterol foods are chock full of nutrition, like eggs. We say don't eat eggs, that's what you used to say, but actually eggs are full of nutrition. Look there. It's got your vitamins, it's got minerals, and even full fat yogurt is packed with protein and calcium. Interesting enough, It was really in the 1990s, studies showed that calcium from good sources can actually help you lose weight. And like I said, eggs improve your good cholesterol. So you can continue with the eggs. Okay. Saturated fat intake may increase the risk of certain heart disease risk factors. You get different opinions again. But current research shows that it's not significantly linked to heart disease development. Recent research has shown no consistent link between saturated fat intake and heart disease. Consuming certain fat-rich foods, such as trans fat, fatty baked goods, and fast food can indeed increase your risk of diabetes and other health issues. Okay, there are enough research to show that. But fatty fish, full-fat dairy, avocados, olive oil, and nuts are high-fat foods that have all been shown to improve blood sugar and insulin levels and protect against developing diabetes. Many high-fat foods are packed with vitamins. We already touched on that as well. Just different sources confirming this. A lot of people shun things like your poultry with skin on, okay, or full-fat dairy. But don't. These are full of nutrients that you need. But eating too much of any food, like I said, can cause you to gain weight. So if you add, however, these foods to a healthy diet, balanced diet, this may actually help you maintain your healthy weight. So you see what I'm trying to say is fat actually can help you stay in good shape and lose weight even. Okay, but remember, not everyone responds to dietary cholesterol the same way. Genetics play an important role. So yes, there is a small part of the population that have to stay away from some of these fatty foods. So there is a certain portion of the population must stay away from these fatty foods. But the majority, it's fine. If you're not sure, check with a health professional, one that really understands fats. Here's one of the other big problems. Because we started to refrain eating fats, we started eating more refined foods, we started getting more omega-6 in the diet and less omega-3. Okay? And too much omega-6 is not good because omega-6 leads to inflammation, which leads to issues, many different health issues. And unfortunately, foods like your canola oil and margarine are full of omega-6s. Processed foods. Be careful of omega-6 in processed foods. I use the New Life Omega-3 Salmon Oil Plus because it contains all 8 omega-3 oils. It was tested on humans, published in independent journals, and the research also shows that it balances the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio within something like 8 weeks. And it brings your inflammation levels down by something like 67% in 8 weeks. And I know this one specifically is recommended by the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists for pregnant women because it's so pure and without toxins. Now, omega-3 is a very good oil. We need to get it in your diet. How did the scientists come across omega-3? They actually discovered that your Eskimos that eat about 70% fat in the diets don't know heart disease. And when they investigated this research, they found that the omega-3 oils are so important. There are 8 of them, by the way, not 2 or 3. And if you go on a vegan or vegetarian diet, you've got a bit of a problem. You will probably only get 1 of the 8. And your body is very inefficient in converting that 1 into the other 7. Only about 10% effective. But you've got a short video with another demonstration. If you are using omega-3 supplement, please take note. Look at this demonstration.
So you want to buy an omega-3 and you think all omega-3s are the same? Well, let's see. I've got 2 different brands of omega-3 here. And I'm going to take a capsule of each. And I'm going to prick it and squeeze it into the formula cup. Let's see. Here's the first one. I prick it. And I squeeze it into the styrofoam cup. Squeeze it in the styrofoam cup. Okay. Now this one, first of all, is dark colored. And it smells very fishy. Let me take the other omega-3 from the other bottle. You see this one, okay, slightly lighter in color. And here's my styrofoam cup. I will prick it and squeeze into the styrofoam cup as well. This one. And then we're going to leave this for a while and see if there's a difference. Okay, so here I have 2 cups, each with omega-3 in. This one on this side, and this one on the other side. Now I have to wait a few minutes. Here you can see the 2 cups. We have to wait a while, and then we see if there's any difference. Let me show inside. Well, here you can see the 1 cup, the contents in the cup. And here's the other cup a few minutes later. You can see the contents is more dry at the moment. But let's wait a few minutes more and see what happens. Here we are a few minutes later. You can already start seeing what's happening to this cup. Look closely. Okay, you can see there what's happening. But we'll wait a few minutes more. This cup, you can see nothing still intact, nothing going on here. Let's wait a few minutes more and let me see again. Okay, let us see what has happened now with the styrofoam cups. This is the one, comes with a tin. Look what's happening here. It has started to dissolve the cup. The cup is broken. With the other cup, intact, nothing wrong with this cup. So there's clearly a difference between the different omega-3s. So an omega-3 is an omega-3? I don't think so. For more information, feel free to contact me. If you would like technical information about what's the difference between the 2, I can also send you that information.
Okay, the bottom line about everything we've seen so far. Dietary fat and cholesterol are often vilified by many health professionals, which has led to many people to avoid high-fat foods. But focusing on a singular macronutrient rather than your overall diet is problematic and unrealistic. Certain high-fat and high-cholesterol foods, such as fast food and fried foods, should be restricted, yes, in any healthy diet. Many nutritious fat-rich foods can and should be included in a healthy, well-rounded dietary pattern. Humans do not consume macronutrients and fats in isolation. They eat fatty foods and containing different types. Okay, we eat different foods, different types of ingredients, not just fat in it, but there's fat and protein, for example, in it, and vitamins and minerals in there. So it's important to eat whole foods. Your diet as a whole, rather than the consumption of individual macronutrients, is an important factor here. Very important. You must eat a whole food. Isolated type of things, not so good for us. Always different in opinions. We get to that in a moment. But you get some examples of healthy fats. Just take note: olive oil. Do not cook with olive oil. Olive oil is great in salads and low temperatures, but not at high temperatures. But all these contain good oils for us. There are some differences of opinion, but the point is, in this study, they found that when people increase saturated and trans fats in the diet, they take note, and trans fats in the diets, they were more likely to put on pounds. But upping intake of unsaturated fats had no such connection. But take note, interesting in the study, they linked saturated and trans fats together instead of separating them. Different types of fats have different metabolic effects on the body. Saturated and trans fats seem to trigger insulin resistance. Again, this is a rather old school thought, still combined with a modern paradigm. But as a result, your body increases its output of insulin, because if you take in food full of glucose, and then insulin is a hormone that promotes fat accumulation. Here's the clincher about insulin. If your sugar levels spike, your body makes more insulin. And what does insulin do with that extra sugar? Because the cells can't use it, it converts that into cells that will convert into fat. So the body will store it as fat. So you don't want sugar spikes. That you must avoid. Okay, not all the saturated fat in the bloodstream comes from saturated fat that we eat. The body also produces some of it. Okay. There's one reason why replacing saturated fat in the diet with simple carbohydrates doesn't reduce the risk of heart disease. Interesting. This is different opinion to the previous slide. It says here, it is produced, fats are produced when the body breaks down simple carbohydrates and sugars. So those excess carbohydrates and sugars, the body will turn some of that into saturated fat. Okay. So full fat dairy products such as yogurt actually have benefits for the heart. People's bodies react differently to different fats. So some suggest genetics are involved, some says gut bacteria, some says combination. So we have to look at our gut bacteria as well. Our weight table, you can see I am coming down very slowly. I was actually yesterday morning, I was still actually on 86.4, and then yesterday I didn't know what I was eating, and I jumped up a lot. But I'm on a weekly basis, I'm still coming down. See, Lynn is coming down very well, and Janet is coming down very well as well, setting a good example to me and to all of us. Well done. And you can see Janet lost 1.3 kilograms last week. Fantastic. Linda, 400 grams. Well done. This is a voluntary table. If any of you on here tonight want to join us on this table, because this leads to accountability, let me know. I can put you on as well. So summary quickly. For lose weight, check your overall intake of kilojoules, obviously, or calories. Choose foods that will boost your metabolism. We discussed that in week 2 or 3 somewhere. Reduce your need for insulin. We discussed that I think in week 4. Consume fiber. Read the label. We discussed that last week. Use whole food supplements. Now that's what I do because I cut out certain foods because I'm fussy as well. I take whole food supplements to ensure that I get all the nutrients in that I need. Trick your mind so you will eat less. Okay. Fat is important for your diet, so avoid synthetic fats, trans fats, in other words. When we finish our cricket, I'll teach you a little exercise you can use to make you eat less. Okay. Weight loss doesn't begin in the gym with a dumbbell. It starts in your head with a decision. Very important, a decision. You can go to a YouTube channel to catch up on the other weight loss Zooms that you might have missed. And you're welcome to email me at herman@vibrantlifestyle.co.za for more information. Just a disclaimer. This whole presentation was from a primary healthcare perspective. It does not replace a doctor's prescription. So these are things that I would follow and I would do if I was in this situation. I'm not claiming that any of these are cures for any disease or health issue. We are just assisting the body so the body can deal with the issues. Well, thank you for watching. I'm going to show that exercise now. Let me just get out of my slideshow. A very simple exercise we can all do. Now, you must practice this with me now, okay? Very simple exercise. Remember, last time we said when you want to eat something, one thing is you can clench your fists, okay? Clench your fist. Now, with the clenching of your fist, do the following while you do it. You first turn your head to the left at 45 degrees. Wait a second or two, then turn to the right 45 degrees again. Okay, so clench the fist, then turn back to the other side again, and then back to the other side again. Okay, now next time when you see food, all you do is do exactly what I've done there, but you do this faster with your head. That's all. Say no. Just say no. I know it's tempting, eh? No, that's exercise. No. Okay. What I've learned from my own experience, when I want a snack, normally I would have taken, let's say, 2 pieces of cake. I now only take 1 piece, for example. Simple things like that. Okay, and that will help you. Okay, any questions? Anything you want to share? You can just unmute yourself if you have got anything to share or anything you want to ask. Any topics I will discuss next week?
For next week, I was thinking maybe we can touch on how our hormones affect weight loss.
Okay. Because that's really important, because our hormones play a role, health plays a role, and then obviously our hormones levels can be affected by what we do and things around us as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Hormones and weight loss. Hormones and weight loss.
And I know it's different in men and women. I mean, obviously we have different types of hormones, but I think there are some hormones we share, like testosterone. And I mean, I know I have a testosterone issue because I have very little hair on my head, and that's from polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is all testosterone related. But I'd like to learn more about how estrogen, progesterone, and all of those kind of things, how those things affect weight loss.
Okay. You give me homework, eh? Yeah, sure. We can talk about that.
I'm an old lady, Herman. I've had many years of this decrepit body of mine.
Yeah, the female hormones do play a role, yes, for sure. Yeah, because the estrogen and progesterone plays a role in the formation of the hips. You know,
Yes.
Is it that? Okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about that next time for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Just to end off, basically conclude the talk, fat, in other words, people, is not bad. The type of fat we look at. And to say saturated fats are bad, be careful. Not all saturated fats are necessarily bad either. So eating the scalp choppy with a bit of fat on is not really that big an issue. I'm not saying you must eat 10 scalp choppies with fat on. That's obviously overdoing it again.
But that goes down to your calories once again, right? So
yeah, but
you have the good fats as long as the calorie count is within your daily intake. Just
remember, your body processes and assimilates your fat different to your carbs.
Okay.
So what's going to happen now is, like I said earlier on, the fat will make you feel fuller for longer, which means you won't have that habit of snacking so much in the end. So although at mealtime you might take in more calories than you would have with the carbs, for example, but you're going to eat less during the day now. So it balances out. And also the fat digests slower, which means the sugar that comes from the fat will be released at a much slower rate. Okay. So you don't get the sugar spikes, or less likely to get the sugar spike, because the moment your sugar spikes, the insulin will take the excess sugar and turn that into fat.
Right.
So you're avoiding that trap as well. But yes, obviously, like I said earlier, you can't overdo it on fat, because then you will get weight and pick up weight as well. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I lost 30 kilograms when I was banting for 2 years, and I ate a lot of fat. All those scalp choppies and all those bad fats, I lost 30 kilograms.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
My sister keeps saying to me, don't count the calories, because if you stick to the banting properly, you will start losing weight. But yeah,
important, but just quantity of food is also important.
Yeah.
The portion sizes, but that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And listen, Linda.
Yeah.
Listen, Linda.
Yeah.
That decrepit body ran 5 blinking Ks. That's fantastic.
Oh my God, it did. It was very sore.
Fantastic, Linda. Well done. Well done on that.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Okay.
Nobody else with a question or comment? Okay, in that case,
thank you.
Next week then we'll discuss hormones and weight loss and all the links and so on. Obviously, I can't go into too much detail because I thought I was going to be quicker tonight, but it ended up still running longer than I wanted to.
That's fine. Thanks, Herman.
Okay, everybody.
Thank you for everybody. Herman, especially.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.